This afternoon I was speaking with Lorimbo, the Zerg master of cheese. And after speaking with him about different build orders for about 25 minutes, he threw out, kind of as a throwaway line, "Oh, by the way, yesterday I gained 200 MMR, cheesing some of the highest level Terrans in the world." Now, personally, if I were to beat one person that's 1200 MMR above me, I would make a post to YouTube, reactivate my Twitter account so I can tweet about it, put it on my LinkedIn in my certifications. But Lorimbo kind of used it as a throwaway line, despite him not beating one, but four extraordinarily high-level Terran players with proxy hatches. So I decided, you know what, let's just go over these replays, have a look to see what happens on the ladder when nobody is watching, which is, of course, what matters the absolute most. So this first one is going to be between Lorimbo and Bian. For the people who do not know Bian, Bian is the world champion from 2016. He's currently playing for Shopify Rebellion and is ranked number 9 in the world. Lorimbo is ranked about rank 70 or 80 in Europe. I don't think he has a hotkey for Hive Tech because he almost exclusively performs on either hatchery or on layer tech. He isn't very fond of macro, and he's one of the players that I think is the most creative when it comes to the Zerg race. Him and Eric, they've really made some big changes in the early game, and I personally think a lot of the stuff that they do is very cool and is very good, but for whatever reason, none of the high-level Zerg players are actually copying it. And you could say, well, this guy is stuck at 5.4, 5.5k MMR. Why would high-level Zerg players copy him? Well, let's have a look at the games that we have today. So we're starting off against Bian. Bian versus Lorimbo with a 14 hatch proxy followed up by a 14 pool. Now, I don't think there's going to be a very fast gas with this, although it is also a possibility. 4 SCVs are being pulled off the line here. I wonder if this was supposed to be a CC first or if the initial plan was to be a Reaper build. So barracks, kind of as a response. Or just as a general opener. It's really hard to say what the Terran actually wanted. I generally do like SCV pools to deal with proxy hatcheries though. The reason why I like them so much is because, well, you don't have to deal with the proxy hatch anymore. And it's very expensive for Zerg to send such a fast drone across the map. Now, behind this, Lorimbo is sending 2 extra drones as well to probably go for a spine rush. I'm just not entirely sure if this hatchery is ever going to finish up, and if it will, can you actually build those extra spines? I'm not so certain. I think it will finish up, but it's going to go down before the queen comes out. And I think that really is what Bian planned for. He's like, hey, you can finish this hatchery, that's completely fine by me, but you cannot actually finish a queen. So you can't block me with creep, you can't run around with Ling Queen and try to destroy me. Lorimbo says, okay, that's fine. I'm just going to build some Lings. I'm going to start a queen, try my best, so we still have to target down this hatchery. And then probably still try at least to throw something down here. I guess a spine crawler or so would be pretty sick. Broodlings coming out right now. We have 500 minerals in the bank for Lorimbo as well. So the macro behind this isn't even all that solid. We're going to go for another proxy hatch as the spine continues building. This barracks is going to get attacked. And this depot is now extremely vulnerable as well. There are currently 0 units out, which is the lowest amount of units you can have as a Terran player. The first Marine pops here as well. Hatchery is going to get targeted down here one more time. Barracks being targeted down as well. We're going to get a lift as Bian probably needs to pull back into his main base. He's not going to do that because he probably wants to fight this hatchery. But every second that goes by, he's losing more and more SCVs. He just lost the barracks to it burning down pretty much. And now all that Bian really has is a command center, a bunker, but 0 production. Now, of course, if he can hold the high ground, let's take a look at the situation. We're going to have double mules. We're going to have a bunker, which maybe he can hold, at least temporarily. Like, the eco is still going to be better here for Bian due to the existence of mules, right? Mules are about 3.5 workers, so 12 workers to 12. That's fantastic. Barracks is going to be rebuilt. Sadly, with a single bunker, I'm not sure if you can actually do it, as this hatchery is close to finishing up right now. It's going to provide some creep. Not sure if it's enough creep to actually put the spine crawler here or over here. We're going to get a queen in, so you can continue pushing with creep further forward as well, and maybe eventually get to the top of the ramp here too. Some gas being mined, still only on 12 workers, by the way. So yeah, even the natural, I was going to say, like, this feels like a macro game because we have a natural, but we're actually going to get a cancel on that natural here right now. Spine moves a little bit further forward. I think this is just with the intention of killing the depot. No, it's going to go here for the For the bunker, actually. Not quite reaching that yet. Now it's got to move forward. I think this will reach. Let's try the route. You have to it's time to take out the unbuildable plates to get an even better position. Queen shows up on the left here. Overlord vision towards the... so you can see absolutely everything. Spine 2 and 3 finishing up here as well. It's going to allow him to quickly go through. Factory's going up behind this, as well as a backup bunker. And I really like this play out of Bian. Now, he's way up in workers. He's adding more and more depots, because he feels like he might end up losing this depot. And you don't want to get supply locked when you're about to build either a Cyclone or a tank. Now, here come the SCV, or the Lynx, excuse me. This is still without speed. He's just going to right-click this bunker. SCVs are not good enough. Gonna get a creep tumor to try and maybe get some of these spine crawlers onto the high ground, as the Lynx are going to continue taking out this bunker. SCVs go down. Marines are about to fall as well. And I mean, we still have a link count of 22 here. With a creep tumor being built once again onto the high ground. And a spine crawler now walking into his opponent's main base as well. I mean, this is a very, very impressive win. Just purely based on the MMR. But at the same time, it feels to me like Bian made quite some mistakes in the defense, Like, I bet if he were to do this again, I'm not sure if he's gonna go with a quick CC here once, whereas GG's gonna get called and our first win goes to Lorimbo. And that's also often the main criticism I think people will say when people are like, oh, you should really try the cheese. And they're like, well, if they respond correctly, then it won't work. It's like, yeah, if my grandmother had wheels, she'd be a freaking bike. It's like... A lot of people have no clue what to do against this, especially at the high level, because they never play against it. The first time we saw Clem deal with like just a regular proxy hatch in his natural, he responded very poorly as well. When Fjand was doing a lot of proxy hatch builds at Home Story Cup, he was taking a lot of maps, he was winning a lot of games, he got into very good positions. And I feel like these types of early game cheeses are extremely underrated, or just weird early games are underrated. I feel like there's some intrinsic value in being freaking weird. Like, there's actually something important there. People forget how to properly respond. And the higher the stakes, often the worse the response is going to be. And I can already, hear, Clem would never lose against this, or Maru. And it's like, I'm pretty sure you could figure out a build where you could at least get a very significant advantage. As the second game here for Lorimbo is going to be against Percival. Now, Percival is one of the he is, simply put, the fastest improving player in the world right now. If you take a look at like any statistics, like his illegal luck statistics, his MMR, this is a guy that within the next year and a half is going to be a top 10 competitor. I am absolutely convinced of that if he continues his same rate of progression, even if he slows down a bit. Like, I think this guy is about rank 25, 20 right now in the world. So a very, very good player. And he probably deserves to be even a little bit higher based on his actual skill level. So he scouts this, pulls a bunch of the boys. And this is what, 8 SCVs? 8 SCVs are being pulled down. We have Marines, high ground CC, which is a pretty common response, by the way. We sometimes see a low ground bunker as well. Marine. We're going to get a factory behind us. He doesn't quite have the money yet. I wouldn't mind even canceling one SCV to get a faster factory. Now that I see this as a very similar type of setup here that Bian also tried, right? Without a CC first, but still very similar. Trying to kill this hatchery with the Marines. As the Lynx are starting to come out. I think this queen actually is going to pop though. So I think the result here is going to be slightly different. Lynx going to go for an assassination attempt onto those Marines. We'll catch Marine number 1. 6 more Lynx are coming out as well right now. No bunker on the high ground quite yet, as first tumor comes out here. The spines are about to finish up as well. Overlord in the neighborhood. And lots of SCVs are going to go down. I really thought this was kind of an okay response against this. I guess not having a backup bunker, but he just didn't have the money. Just didn't have the money. I'm starting to wonder whether getting a second CC is actually the correct play. However, if you don't, they might just build a hatchery at home. So it's you get contained, and it also feels awkward. Like, you don't know exactly what the eco is like for the Zerg, of course. Spine's now coming in. Tumor's actually blocking a lot of these reinforcements. Depot's on the way out. There's no second orbital quite yet either. Things are going to start running, and it just wants to trade. Really with anything. Second spine crawler can probably get upstairs right now. The wall can never be rebuilt due to the existence of creep. And yeah, there we go. Spine's going to make its way onto the high ground. Lynx continue trading against the Marine SCVs. And that's another plus 50 MMR there for Lorimbo. Up next, we have a game versus Ryung, the Korean Terran player as well. So it's really a Korean party here with 3 Koreans that all played on EU. And boy, will they regret that, making that VPN connection. So we're once again going to move out with a drone. This one's a little bit later, I feel like. I can't remember what the hatch timing was in the previous game, but I think it was earlier than this. I feel like it was 14 hatch, 13 pool. I'm not even sure if an Overlord was coming out. This does feel a little bit delayed, but I could be wrong. I'm not a specialist in the proxy hatch timings. I'm not going to lie about that. This thing's going to come out. Once again, building it far forward. Maybe this is exactly what it did in the previous game, 15-14. No, he's going to get another drone here. I feel like this is very different. God, I haven't been paying enough attention. I hate it when I do that. Okay, oh, there's a lot of extra drones. This almost feels like a macro game. Which is weird to say given that there's a hatchery on the other side of the map. That's the first kind of course of action. This might even be hatch. No, okay, it's going to be... So 15 hatch... What's that? 17 gas, 16 pool. That's going to be the build over here. So usually you play 16 hatch, 18 gas, 17 pool with a hatchery in your natural. I guess if you proxy the hatchery, things do change up a little bit. Ryung's just opening the most standard way possible. I do hope for him that he's going to come in with a scout. This hatchery is in such a position that if there is no scout, I think the CC building SCV doesn't actually see it. So if you were to just build a command center, you don't spot the hatchery. So that is why it's a little bit further away. You could say, hey, just build it over here. That's closer. But this is like an extra trick. It's basically, it's a scout check. It's saying, hey, if you're scouting, you're going to be, well, not fine, but at least you'll know about it. If you're not scouting, you're not going to know about it until the creep comes out. So your response is going to be a bit delayed. So far, the most nothing-ish response, I guess. Like nothing is going on. Reaper's going to get sent across the map, which is very weird. I hope he goes into a marine here, by the way. He's not doing that. This is really interesting. This is almost how you would play against a Marauder all-in. If it's a TVT, send the Reaper across the map and hope there's no defense there. However, this is not a Marauder all-in, and he has no units right now. Okay, he's going to build a bunker. He's going to lock this out. Starts with a marine. Production in the back. Double gas, so quick Banshee is possible. Quick Cyclone is going to be possible as well. Ryung with fastish response. Reaper's going to come home, which is good. Speed is on the way though, as well as a second Spine Crawler. Queen's already on the ramp, not giving a crap. I don't think we actually put down a Creep Tumor, which is most likely a mistake. Oh, Ling actually got bounced over the wall, which is very frustrating. Which means you now need to target down that Ling. Oh, target fire here on the Marine is good as well. Queen actually putting in a lot of work. So one Marine goes down. Now the Spines on the low ground that are capable of at least taking out the depots. Behind this though, we're going to get a tech lab. We have a lot of gas in the bank, maybe too much even. I think you should probably pull a little bit out of gas, one could even say. There is no full wall anymore, and this Creep Tumor is probably going to spread creep towards the top side. Ooh, Overlord moving too far forward. We're going to get a Cyclone as the first tool. Love the re-wall with the command center. That is such a good call. I feel like Ryung is very intelligent, and thinking in the moment here is definitely his strong suit. Oh. Morimbo says, I'm also very intelligent, and killing your bunkers is my strong suit. So he runs in, kills every single SCV, and with double Spine and a Queen, is actually just going to clear the bunker. And now you can land your CC all you want, buddy. No bunker, no units. Things are going to get into your main base, and I think that's probably going to be it, as this Cyclone is not going to come out. 3 minutes and 54 seconds, and Lorimbo is 3-0 versus Korea. Up next, we're going to go versus Nicorect. Nicorect is, I believe, a 6.2, 6.3k Terran on Europe. Also one of the up-and-comers. Probably, at this point, probably like a top 5, top 6 Terran in Europe, actually, now that I think about it. Very, very solid. Good brain as well, which is important. Well, not for playing Terran, but just as a human. Nice guy. And maybe that's the thing that puts him apart, you know, sets him apart from most other Terrans, the fact that he does have more than 2 brain cells. We'll see how these 2 brain cells are going to, or I guess the 3 brain cells are going to work against a proxy hatch. We're going for a 15 hatch once more. So similar to the previous game, I'm expecting the 15, 17, 16. You see there the focus is more on the speed links. You know, kind of that moment when speed finishes up and the 2 spines move forward. It is very different, although it smells the same. And it's like a slightly different shade of proxy hatch. They always say there's 50 shades of gray. Now, I don't know how many shades of proxy hatch there is, but that is a movie that I would like to see. Narrated by a beautiful Italian voice. Explaining the difference between every shade of the proxy hatch. I would love that. Alright. Gonna get an extractor, gonna get a pool, gonna get a hatchery. And we have our base. Nicorect. So this is already the first difference. Nicorect is playing to win points. He knows Lorimbo, and he knows Lorimbo plays like an idiot. So he scouts extraordinarily early, just to make sure that he knows what's going on. So he sees the lack of a hatchery here. Like everyone else, like he's going to go reactor first. Like no one else has done that so far. So he wants big marine production, CC on the high ground. He's not at all responding to the low ground threat, which I'm not entirely sure if that's correct. Like I said, I kind of like the thought of pulling some workers to try and kill it. But at the same time, I also hate the thought of doing that. I also like the thought of skipping the CC, but I also hate it because what if they then build a hatchery at home and they just contain you? You know, then you're playing 2 base versus 1 base with creeping your natural. I think it's also awkward. Bunker goes down. So to me, this feels like the perfect response as long as you up your depot. As long as you up your... Oh, no, actually, this is good bait. Look at that. He wanted to bait him in, actually. I like that. And Nicorect is the master baiter. He's so good at it. Won multiple prizes for it. Oh, well, he hasn't won any prizes for not losing Marines. Perhaps this also was bait. That's not that great. Okay, factory over halfway done. Spinecrawler shows up now as well. CC is about to finish up. I think the CC just doesn't contribute to the defense, but you kind of need it as an insurance policy in case your opponent wants to go for a macro game. Lorimbo is aware of it as well, so he could respond to it theoretically. He needs to take this. He needs to take the unbuildable rocks out. I think it's actually key to take that out. Yeah, here he goes. Okay, we're gonna get a factory back lab. Do you want maybe like a backup bunker right now? I like the thought of backing up bunkers, you know, and just giving up these things. Once you got your cyclone started, all you really need is backup bunkers. Okay, this depot is gonna die, which is fine, because the cyclone has started. You got more marines on the way, which is fine. New depot coming in. This bunker full walls this area. Now we're gonna go target down this depot. Cyclone's pretty close though. No, it's a tank. It's not a cyclone. It's maybe even good to keep something alive so you can heal this with other stuff. Oh, here we go. Goes for the bunker. Not enough SCVs. Not enough SCVs and very good damage output. Well, pretty much the same scenario as last game. Just a different lead up towards it. Like 5 seconds before the factory unit pops out, Lorimbo just busts in and says, hello, it's me. And there's like 15 links with speed while spines continue blasting down your wall. Creep tumor spreads up forward. Like he's very precise with what he does behind this as well. Like he's got to make sure that he doesn't, you know, that it can be rewalled pretty much. And then if you don't have good production anymore with Marines, I think the production for the Zerg is just going to be too good. Like we even have a hatch that's about to finish up. It's just because he's starting to float money after a certain point. You could probably build more queens over here as well. And look at that. Links show up. Second tank does come out, which is frustrating. But first tank now is going to die. Second tank is going to die as well because of the links around. And just like that, we got a 4-0. And I actually got a bonus replay as well. I said I had 4. But psych. I got a 5th. Alright, and that final game is going to be a Zerg versus Zerg here between Lorimbo and Elaser, who is class. I just quickly checked the MMR between these two guys. So 5.5k for Lorimbo, 6.350 for Elaser. So that's a very significant difference. All of these games have been with an MMR difference of about, what would I say? About a difference between 800 and 1200. So a 1200 MMR difference is about the difference between low Grandmaster and being like high diamond, I would say. Or like mid diamond. I think diamond ends at like 4200. So yeah, it's like high diamond depending where in the low Grandmasters you are. But that is a huge difference, just for a bit of context, you know? Like these people in consistency and output are not very close. However, with these types of builds, you can make stuff happen. So Elaser opened up with a 15 hatch. This is gasless. 15 hatch pre-Overlord, this was. And then into Overlord and Pool. This is supposed to be very safe against things like 12 pool because you have much quicker pool than with a standard 16, 18, 17. So 16 hatch, 18 gas, 17. So he's already kind of blind countering, but he doesn't really want to admit the blind countering because then he would go for like a 16 pool. He would feel like a loser if he were to do that, you know? But here, he can kind of justify it to himself. Like, I'm not playing overly safe against someone that is, you know, is 800 MMR below me. This is a bit of ego protection for him. So he can pretend that he didn't blind counter someone that is like half his skill level. Lorimbo, meanwhile, is opening up with what was it? A 14, 13, 12. 14 gas, 13 pool, 12 hatchery. Now, this hatchery is actually delayed by about 5 seconds compared to a standard hatch first. So it's still very fast, and it almost smells the same. And if E-Laser doesn't count or pay close attention to where the creep is exactly, he might believe that this is a standard opener. So we even have the queen starting in the natural right now, and that is going to sell this idea here to E-Laser, or it's going to try to sell it. He's like, okay, queen is building. You might even try to send like some drones down. So yeah, we have 2 drones down here, despite the main base not even being remotely saturated. Usually what we see here is 2 links coming out. This is a standard timing for a 2-link scout. And then those 6 links will join up the 2 links at the same time, and they're going to go for some type of kill. At the same time, E-Laser's opening up with a fast lair. Overlord is scouting, whether they're scouting for E-Laser, which there's not. E-Laser has nothing in front of his natural. 8 links are going to come in, and if you get a queen, you win the game. If you don't get a queen, you don't necessarily win the game. Here come the rest of the links. Barely doesn't get scouted by the first Overlord, but it doesn't matter, because here goes the first queen. It's probably going to die. Here goes the second queen. It's probably also going to die. All the drones coming down from the main base as well. And just like that, in a matter of, 25 minutes, you can beat a lot of different people way above you in MMR if you just have the perfect builds. People often say, StarCraft is too mechanical. You need to be so fast and young and beautiful in order to compete. But in reality, if you have some good freaking builds, you execute them well enough, you're going to be freaking cooking. As more and more links should be coming in right now. And because he has the queen and he killed both of his opponent's queens, there's actually just going to be an issue in production here for E-Laser. Like, he's just not going to have enough larva to spend all of his cash in. And Lorimbo is going to have more larva due to having those injects. I mean, he also has links with speed, so he can kind of run in between bases. He can stop supply lines from the main, reaching the natural. And yeah, lots of money here is being lost. I mean, E-Laser is still trying, and I appreciate that, but it doesn't really matter. This game is freaking over. This is actually as over as it gets. Because it's 9-11. It's like, yeah, he even canceled the lair. So there's 0 advantages right now. I do appreciate him staying in. This is the cope that people often get when they're about to lose. I once lost a map to a Diamond 2 player in an ESL Cup in like 2016. And I remember that I bet my heart rate went up by like about like 80 and I started sweating and stuff. It's not a great feeling, let me tell you. And that's what E-Laser was feeling here as well. So, beautiful little series. Thanks to Lorimbo for sending me these replays. Cannot believe he didn't brag about it. I'm going to check his LinkedIn later today. Maybe we'll see some post. Would be good. I beat 5 higher level players. This is what it taught me about B2B sales. Like, all right, calm down, Lorimbo. Yeah, it's going to be it for me today. Thanks for watching. And shout out to all of you as well for StarCraft. Bye.